Then gets it to Taylor, who started his run last year in this game where he scored 8 goals against this Cuse defense. Jake Taylor, not even 7 months removed from an ACL tear, finding form.
Yeah, that was his first career start last year in the game against Syracuse. A 22-6 win for Notre Dame. And last week against Virginia was his first start of the season. His 4th game coming back from a knee injury. The same knee injury that forced him to miss some time at the start of last year, just on the other leg. Notre Dame wins this faceoff, and with speed, here comes Brian Tevlin. Another Yale transfer fires, missed it wide. The Irish win the backup with Chris Kavanagh, the sophomore from Rockville Center, New York. Kavanagh matched up with Billy Dwan, the freshman from Lutherville, Maryland. You see Pat Kavanagh, his brother, 51, in navy and gold. And Saam Olexo draws the assignment on Kavanagh. There's a big screen. Tevlin is down in a heap as the shot is backed up by Kavanagh. And Brian Tevlin, one of the toughest, baddest dudes in college lacrosse, banged up.
And we're going to take a look here, but this to me looks like a cheap shot that Tevlin gets. You can see his frustration. He was setting a pick and absolutely got cross-checked right in the head. Let's take a look at it here. Yeah, luckily it wasn't in the head, but Saam Olexo costs his team there an unnecessary penalty against one of the best man-up teams in the country, maybe of all time, operating the high 60%.
Yeah, this man-up unit is almost unstoppable. Olexo, by the way, in the box for a minute. He is an intense player, extremely competitive. A little too much that time. As Dobson fires. Oh, Whistler makes it 2-0 Irish.
And Syracuse, on the man down, is in trouble. Pat Kavanagh recognizes who's the string man on the defense, and as he slides over, he's able to put the ball right in Dobson's stick, right? So Kavanagh shifts towards the sideline. Syracuse defense moves with him, and he gets it to Dobson, their best outside shooter. Completely uncontested with an absolute hammer. But an unnecessary penalty from Syracuse, just not smart. In that scenario, they gain nothing by that.
Olexo out of the box after the goal. Notre Dame wins the faceoff anyway. And Jose Boyer carried it into the offensive side for the Irish. Long stick, who scored against Virginia Saturday. Irish in business again. 2 goals in the last minute and 2 seconds. Mentioned the 5 wins in a row for Notre Dame in this series. It's by a margin of 93-46, an average of almost 19 goals to 9. And they're off to a good start. Here's Quinn McCahon. His pass errant for Reilly Gray. Turnover by the Irish. Brandon Aviles carries for Syracuse, celebrating Senior Day, honoring 15 members of the program.
That was a nice time check by Aviles right there, causing the turnover. The subtle pressure at the right time can make all the difference. It's not necessarily how hard you check, how heavy the pressure is. It's oftentimes about the timing, and it was a great check for him there.
Here's Hiltz. Nice move, shot high, backed up by Joey Spallina, the superstar freshman from Long Island. Here is Spallina, trying to find just a sliver of space, matched up with Fake. Now Luke Roa. Hard dodge and a missed shot, bouncing wide. Another backup for the Orange, 26 to shoot, no reset to 60. because it didn't hit the goal or the goalie. Cole Kirst on the shot there, the grad student from New Jersey. Griffin Cook lost it, picked up by Entenmann for Notre Dame. Entenmann tiptoeing all the way to the 40-yard line as Notre Dame clears. That's one area where they do struggle. They're last in the ACC in clearing percentage at under 87%. Here's Bryce Walker, junior from Austin, Texas. 6 goals on the season. 5 minutes in, Notre Dame by 2. Coming off their first loss of the season, 15-10 against Virginia last Saturday. Now Pat Kavanagh with speed, the shot, the hammer. Pat Kavanagh continues his dominance of Syracuse. It is 3-0 Notre Dame.
He knows how to score points against every team, but against Syracuse, he really knows how to do it. 9 points in every matchup against Syracuse. Well on his way again, and Kavanagh, who this season has become more of a feeder. 26 assists and only 12 goals, but he can do it all. And I'd love to see him be a little bit more aggressive getting to the middle of the field, because once teams have to collapse on him, his vision and his ability to pass will really open up more so than it already has. He is fun to watch and tough and just such an elite player.
Yeah, against Syracuse, Pat Kavanagh is basically John Wick. This is his 5th game against the Orange. In the previous 4, he scored at least 9 points in every one. 9. That is not a typo. Another battle for the faceoff. Still loose. It bounces out of bounds, and it's Syracuse ball. And they need this possession. How can they get the offense going here, Matt?
You got to identify the matchup that you can attack. And again, I don't think it's going to be Spallina. I liked Hiltz early on. He was able to get his hands free. But for them, I want to see an offensive set where they're actually probing a little bit. Be patient. See which middies can gain an advantage and force Notre Dame to slide, and then open up the middle of the field. Because if you watch tape on Notre Dame against Virginia last week, they gave up an incredible amount of assisted goals. They were very weak in the interior. And so Syracuse needs to find the offensive player that can force Notre Dame to slide to then open up the middle of the field.
There's Spallina really at his office, that 5-and-5 area, trying to back down on fake, but that's tough.
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge for him, because that's fake strength. Is, hey, you want to body me up at the 5-and-5? He's not going to lose many of those. So Spallina's going to have to adapt and maybe do a little bit more of quick change of direction behind the cage to open his hands up.
Good ball movement leads to a good shot that goes well high. Must have deflected, and that leads to a shot clock reset. So give Entenmann a save. Never mind, shot clock still dwindling now, near 10 seconds, as Alex Simmons sets up shop. Simmons turns, bouncer, easy work for Entenmann.
And again, I think Syracuse, given their youth and Notre Dame's strength on ball, they need to create more opportunities with quick passes and ball movement. I don't think they're going to win a lot of one-on-one matchups today.
They did not get it across in 20 seconds, just barely. Dobson tried to glide across the timeline, and that's a turnover. So Notre Dame fails to clear. Midway through this first quarter, Syracuse still scoreless. The Orange have taken 5 shots, just 1 on goal. Spallina uses the screen, but it's an illegal one. They pin that on his fellow freshman, Finn Thomson. So 3 turnovers for Syracuse. They're the best team in the country at limiting turnovers, just 12 per game. Best among 72 Division I teams, but they've coughed it up 3 times already.
Look, that's an incredibly impressive stat. More impressive given the youth of this team, right? Like, that's typically inverted. Right? Young teams turn it over a ton. So, like, talking about where can this program go? Where can these freshmen and sophomore take them? As they get more experience, as they grow and get more physically mature, if they don't turn the ball over, and then they can create, I mean, like, look out.
Kavanagh again. He shot from that same action for Notre Dame's third goal. Dobson wheels it around for Gray. Matched up with the short stick Carter Rice. Under 30 to shoot for the Irish. Now Gray with a step. Gray shoots and scores. Reilly Gray's on the board. 4-0 Irish.
And Reilly Gray has Notre Dame rolling. The invert from behind the cage, just a hard move from X. One move and go. Takes that extra step and creates angle here. Has the Irish rolling 4-0 in the Dome. Together early here in the Dome. Just picture perfect offense right here. Dobson from the outside and the man up. Pat Kavanagh doing what he does. And then right here, the fourth of the game, Gray on the individual effort behind the cage. Notre Dame's offense is third in terms of goals per game, scoring about 16. Defensively, like, they're just kind of doing what they always do right there. And so this is one of the best all-around teams, offensively and defensively. No weaknesses outside that face-off X. You have to think they're the most well-rounded team right now in college lacrosse.
Yeah, face-offs, 44% this year, 59th in D1. Other than that, you see top 6 in the country in scoring offense and defense. UNC is the only other team that can claim that. Top 6 on both ends of the field. As Jack Fine wins the face-off for Syracuse. Back to the defensive end and Will Mark, and they'll start the clear. Good news for the Irish today is the Orange also struggle at the face-off X. They're 42%, which is 63rd in D1. Here's Griffin Cook.
Critical possession here.
Right here in Syracuse.
Man, this is a critical possession for the Orange. Really haven't generated a high scoring or high quality opportunity offensively yet. There it is.
There it is. Cook missed the shot.
More of that. They need more of that. They need more interior off-ball movements, picks, slipping off the picks. Because they're not going to win a lot of these one-on-one matchups. See, Notre Dame not even thinking about sliding there, right? And that's going to make it very hard to play offense.
Roa back to X. Here comes the freshman from Potomac, Luke Roa. Can't get his hands free. Now Hiltz. Shot clock approaching 10. Hiltz on the swim. The Canadian lefty can't stuff it. Picked up by Marco Napolitano, the senior from San Diego.
Notre Dame will live by that. Good individual defense, low angle shot from Hiltz. And when you have a goalie the size of Entenmann, with the skill of Entenmann, that's a challenge to beat him on those low angle shots.
Yeah, we talked with Coach Kevin Corrigan, longest active tenured D1 coach in his 35th year at the helm of the Irish, and he said they slide to situations, not necessarily to individual players. Pat Kavanagh going back to work. Kavanagh, the lefty shot, you bet. That's 2 for Kavanagh in the first quarter. 5-0 Notre Dame.
And Pat Kavanagh takes some offense here to get put on the ground after the shot, but look at that placement. That is picture perfect. And right here, he doesn't appreciate the late slide. Gets up and he lets Cuse know about it. Kavanagh with 2 goals on the evening, the afternoon. Also has an assist.
Pat Kavanagh picking up right where he left off against Syracuse. Coming into this game, again, 38 career points in 4 matchups with the Orange. He's 4-0, 10 points in 2 of those games.
He's on pace for 12 right now.
Yeah, he's the boogeyman for Syracuse fans. Can the Orange respond? Spallina with those quick, choppy steps. It works its way to Michael Leo, another freshman. The slide comes. Leo still with it against a short stick. Now Hiltz at the top. Spallina behind GLE. Cole Kirst now. Again, just not a sliver of space against this Notre Dame defense. Kirst puts the shoulder down. Kirst shoots wide from a sharp angle. On the backup, Spallina, 21 to shoot. Approaching 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. Spallina goes to work, gets the screen, fires and bangs it. Joey Spallina has the much-needed first goal for the Cuse.
And Joey Spallina, the #1 recruit in the country, off the pick, gets his hands free. And the impressive part of the shot is coming near side. Most goalies are expecting you to put that to the far post, and he comes near side. And there's his dad, Coach Spallina, fired up for Syracuse's first goal of the contest. And I like that approach for Syracuse with setting the pick, round goal line extended to get his hands free, in close to the cage.
It's fine for Syracuse against Will Lynch for Notre Dame. Lynch wins the faceoff and has a head of steam. He shoots. Kicked away by Will Mark, backed up by Notre Dame. Well, welcome to the JMA Wireless Dome in Syracuse. Thanks for joining us as the Notre Dame men try to do what the Notre Dame women just did and win today on ACC Network. There's a chance it's a really good day for lacrosse fans in South Bend. The Irish already on top 4-1, or 5-1 over the Orange. They've won 5 games in a row in this series. I'm Drew Carter alongside Matt Ward. Pat Kavanagh yet again dominating against Syracuse with 3 points, 2 goals and an assist. His pass picked up here by Brian Tevlin and saved somehow. The shot stopped by Mark.
Will Mark finding himself here. Didn't have a save on the first 5 Notre Dame goals, but 3 since then. None bigger than that last one.
Now, Will Mark above 60% on the season. In the month of March, he was better than 62%, which would be the best in the country. First shot denied by Antomin. Goalie's going back and forth here. Nick Harris peels back. Short stick D Mitty to X and Chris Kavanagh, Pat's younger brother, the sophomore from Long Island. Now Pat. Difference of about 11 seconds between shot clock and game clock. Dobson and Gray play the 2-man. Pass into some traffic taken away by the Orange. Dylan Seguider. And he got clobbered. Pat Kavanagh on the ride. Now Chris. Space for a shot. Mark goes down to the knees and stops it. Under 30 seconds to play in the first quarter. A chance for the Orange on the run. Hiltz fires and scores.
Will Mark with a nice save on McCahon, drops to his knees but stays high, and then that outlet pass to Saam Olexo, who pushes in transition and gets it to Hiltz. Not a ton of angle there for number 77, Owen Hiltz, but he buries it in the top portion of the cage. 2 in a row for the Syracuse Orange.
Well, it's not a pole goal, but it's a pole assist for Saam Olexo, his second helper of the year, 4th point overall. And Syracuse with a little spurt here. 2-0 run. Tevlin scoops up the faceoff for Notre Dame with 15 seconds to play. Tevlin with the wheels. 10 seconds now. A shot from Taylor. He stings a corner. Oh, Jake Taylor unstoppable against the Orange.
On our call with Coach Corrigan this week, he said the ball finds Taylor like moths find lights. And just look right here, no reason to throw that pass, and Taylor with the composure embraces the check, plants his feet. A big goal for Notre Dame, quieting some of the Syracuse Orange momentum.
Now Hagstrom against Fine for the faceoff, and that'll do it for the first quarter. So first 5 to Notre Dame, next 2 for Syracuse, and Jake Taylor with his second of the afternoon to punctuate the first quarter. Notre Dame trying to win again. The Cuse on the hunt for their first ranked win of the year. Welcome back to the JMA Wireless Dome in Syracuse, where it's more of the same for Notre Dame, at least in recent history in this series. They've won 5 in a row. They lead 6-2 after 1. Now, for the Orange, it's really been a tale of 2 seasons. They've won 3 in a row twice. They started the year with 3 straight wins all over unranked teams, then lost 4 straight against ranked teams, Maryland, Carolina, Duke, and Hopkins, and now they've won 3 straight against mid-majors. So, Matt, when you look at this season as a whole, what's the takeaway?
Look, I think that's to be expected when you have a really young team. If I'm Coach Gary Gait, I'm thinking, all right, what happens the back end of the season? Because they're going to be playing a lot of ranked teams here coming through the ACC. How are these young freshmen and the sophomores improving, right? Because you can see right here that against the weaker competition, the freshmen playing with maybe a little bit more confidence and able to do a little bit more, but against the bigger, more athletic, polished teams, they've struggled, and that's to be expected with a lack of experience. But you need your young players to play a year ahead of themselves as the season progresses. Basically, midway through the season, you're no longer a freshman, you're a sophomore, right? You're no longer a sophomore, you're a junior. And so it'll be interesting to see how these Syracuse young offensive players continue to evolve.
I like what Kevin Corrigan said when we met with him this week. As Johnny Rachusa takes the faceoff for Syracuse, he did not take one in the first quarter. It was all Jack Fine. Notre Dame wins the faceoff to begin the second quarter. Corrigan said, hey, listen, everyone in Syracuse is saying it's all about next year, which really allows them to play with house money. Chris Kavanagh took the shot at the open net. It took a high bounce and still loose. Picked up by Nick Picamo, the sophomore from Long Island.
And it's interesting, right? Coach Corrigan's like, oh, they're playing with house money. But then you talk to Coach Gait. He's like, look, we're 1 goal away from beating Duke and being in the top 10 in a playoff team, right? And so, like, Syracuse is not playing for next year, right? They know everything's still ahead of them. They have enough quality teams that they can beat in the upcoming schedule to improve their NCAA tournament resume, right? If they get 2 wins against a Notre Dame, a Duke, a UVA,
Spallina going to work again against Fake. Now Michael Leo.
And I'd like And I'd like to see Spallina there not engage fake. Make a hard, quick move.
Nice feed. Finish not there, though, for Syracuse. That was Alex Simmons, grad student, transfer from Denver.
Fake is not a heavy checker, so you can throw passes and feeds against him. And so look for Spallina, if I were them, to be more of a facilitator than a one-on-one scorer this game.
That time his pass taken away by Notre Dame, and Napolitano. Now Entenmann with it. And Syracuse takes it right back. The Orange on the ride. Michael Leo with the caused turnover. It's 3 turnovers for Notre Dame, 5 for Syracuse. They only average 12 turnovers per game, the best mark in the country. Now Simmons looks, surveys, gives it up for Spallina. Mentioned Gary Gate. Hey, look, they're not just playing for next year. He told us, I don't like missing the playoffs. Played pro 22 years, missed them once. Coached the women's team for 14 years, missed them once. That shot saved by Entenmann. Simmons had a clear lane. Entenmann turned him aside and starts the break.
And Entenmann did a nice job there. He actually baited Simmons to shoot that high. You can watch as Simmons is winding up. Entenmann drops hands. And Simmons thinks that means he's going low, but Entenmann was coming back up quick and hard and strong on that shot. Made it look easier than it was.
Dobson feeds. Taylor scores! A hat trick for Jake Taylor. And Syracuse fans must be feeling deja vu right now.
8 goals a year ago for Taylor. Gets his 3rd in this contest. And right here, Dobson. First couple campaigns for the Irish, he was a outside shooter on the run. He has added this element to his repertoire here in 2023. And the better you become as a feeder, as a midfielder, the bigger dividends that'll pay later in the year, because teams cannot slide as quickly to you, and he's such an effective shooter on the run. It's going to make his life a lot easier.
It's fine again at the face-off X. This one won by Will Lynch. And he'll set up the offense for Notre Dame. Dobson's passing, Coach Corrigan told us he's always adding things to his games, continuing to develop all around. And that's the thing this year where he's much improved as a passer. Riley Gray on a long run. Back toward X and Pat Kavanagh. He was behind GLE with his brother Chris for a moment. Now here comes Tevlin. Tevlin with the pass. Kavanagh tried to load up the shot. It was poked free, and Tevlin vacuums up the ground ball for Notre Dame. Dobson now with that big frame. He sticks it top shelf and pays the price.
And this is something Dobson's done from day one for the Fighting Irish, is the ability to shoot on the run. Just one hard move. Doesn't matter if it's a long stick or a short stick. Zones out the pressure. Takes the hit. Buries his 17th goal of the season. Syracuse lucky that wasn't a late hit.
Fine wins the faceoff against Hagstrom. Yeah, look, Dobson 6'5", 235. Brandon Aviles, who launched into him, is 6'0", 195. Dobson's like a locomotive, kind of similar to Sergio Perkovic back in the day, right, Matt?
Very, very similar. And then I asked that question to Coach Corrigan to kind of compare him. He's like, look, I think Sergio is probably a little bit better shooter, time and room. Dobson, a better shooter on the run. But Aviles there, like the part, he left his feet, and it was almost like a hip check in hockey. Leaving the ground is usually always a penalty. And Syracuse is not in a position to be playing man down in this game.
Yeah. Birtwistle sets the screen. Kirst shot high and outside. 35 seconds on the timer as Birtwistle collects a new ball. Birtwistle turns. Too much altitude on the shot. Backed up by the Cuse again.
And I think Syracuse needs to set a lot more picks on ball. It's been pretty effective. Really, the only times their hands have gotten free have come off on-ball picks, as we see them doing it again right here.
Spallina on fake, 15 to shoot. It's a mom goal for Syracuse as Roa fired it into the side netting. First fake clears it himself. Defenseman brought it across midfield. Looks like an offside against Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's gonna be an offside. And a nice job by Notre Dame getting back into defensive position there to thwart any transition opportunity for Syracuse. This is something Notre Dame's got to work on, though, right? In this game, and really throughout the course of the season, they've been the worst clearing team in the ACC, as you mentioned earlier. Those extra possessions matter when you're trying to win a national championship. They need to clean that part of the game up.
Spallina, he tried his signature move over the shoulder. Picked up on the rebound by Griffin Cook.
It's more around the hip, right? He doesn't come up over high. He shoots it real low, which to me I think is actually nice because it increases angle and actually really uses the defender as a screen by you're just shooting it right off their hip.
We had a timeout on the field. Syracuse ball down by 6. 9 minutes to play until halftime.
Notre Dame's offense is clicking thanks to Jake Taylor. Last year against Syracuse, 8 goals, a hat trick thus far in the first half, and he is just so good off ball. He's 7 months removed from an ACL tear. Last year when he was inserted into the offense for Notre Dame, they did nothing but win 12 straight games. He is finding his rhythm and is only going to get better as his knee gets stronger and his confidence comes back.
Yeah, his first career goals last year against Syracuse. 8 goals in his first career start. He's just been terrorizing Syracuse ever since he came back. I mean, Matt, tell us, as a former player, how hard is that 7 months removed from an ACL for him to be back and playing at this level?
And we kind of asked Coach Corrigan about that. He's like, look, he had the same injury to the other knee the year before, and he actually learned a lot about the process and the dedication needed. And same injury, prior recovery was over a year. This time 7 months.
What a shot on the run. Michael Leo, the freshman, coming off a hat trick against Hobart, the first of his career. He's got his first goal today.
Michael Leo, the freshman from Long Island. Down the alley, his left hand, and we're gonna get a great angle here. Look at the hips rotate. The key to being able to pull the ball towards that far post. Too often young players, when they're dodging down the alleys, all their momentum's going towards the sideline. The ball follows your energy. And Leo right there with the picture perfect form. Squares his body up and whips his hip around and able to get the ball to the far post.
They call a violation against Notre Dame and Will Lynch on the faceoff. That's one of Newton's laws, right? Where your body is going, the ball will follow.
I think that's what he said, right?
Something like that. He's definitely talking about lacrosse when he made that law.
I know an object in motion will stay in motion.
That might be what I'm getting at. So Notre Dame with a little life after that goal from Leo. Here's Kirst, 6'2", 210 grad student, Lehigh transfer. looking to get his hands free. Instead, dumps it behind the back attempt. Just dribbles over the crossbar. Oh, Jackson Birtwistle almost put himself on SportsCenter.
Syracuse doing a better job in this quarter on some of the off-ball movement, catching Notre Dame ball watching. Defensively, Syracuse, kind of same thing. It's too easy for Notre Dame in the interior to get their hands open as they missed an opportunity there. No reason for Kavanagh to be that wide open that early in the offensive set.
Pat Kavanagh to the top. Dobson, one more. The feed toward the middle was deflected and taken away by Syracuse. Here comes Billy Dwan, the defenseman. 6'4" freshman gets it ahead. Hiltz now. Lots of contact on the screen. Dwan trying to get off. Folks, next week's featured men's lacrosse game here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Virginia takes on North Carolina at Dorrance Field. Should be a high-scoring game. Two top-scoring offenses in the country. Coverage begins at 6 Eastern. Birtwistle, the lefty shot, saved by Entenmann. By the way, the attempt on the last possession was Finn Thomson, the freshman from Toronto. And Entenmann's made a couple of good saves in a row now. So Notre Dame struggles to clear, but they do. There's a flag on the field, so the Irish will be going back to the man up, which is bad news for the Orange. Second best man up unit in the country at 63%. Pat Kavanagh with the long pass, connects with Brian Tevlin. Jack Simmons with some space, and the feed, skips it, and Will Mark gobbles up the shot, and now Notre Dame will go to the extra man.
Red, number 22, illegal procedure, crease violation, 30 seconds, free shot eliminated.
Spallina on the crease violation.
Syracuse needs Will Mark to steal one here. You asked the question, why is Notre Dame's man-up unit so darn good? Well, when you have an outside shooter like Dobson, a feeder like Pat Kavanagh, and an inside player like Jake Taylor, what are you supposed to do? How do you match up, right? If you extend out to Dobson, it opens it up for Taylor, and Kavanagh is just going to pick you apart.
Watch this execution. Griffin Westlin playing on the man up. Goes around the wheel. Chris Kavanagh with the nice catch. Now Pat Kavanagh. Dobson. 10 seconds left on the extra man. Westlin looks. Dobson takes a peek. Kavanagh spins it around. Chris Kavanagh under 5. Westlin finds some space. Dobson now skip pass. And a backup for Notre Dame as the Orange kill off the penalty.
A nice job by Syracuse in the rotations there. Everything contested. Contested the passes. Contested on Kavanagh's shot there. They much need 1 or 2 wins against teams that are going to be ranked in the top 10, top 5, top 3. Right now, I could say confidently, I think there's 3 ACC teams that are in right now in the tournament. UNC and Syracuse have some work to do, but it's all in front of them. They can get there.
Yeah, Coach Gates said, look, we've got nothing to lose. We're the underdog, not supposed to be there. And it's striking to hear arguably the greatest lacrosse player of all time, who played for arguably the greatest program of all time, say that about his alma mater. I mean, Syracuse has won 11 national championships, been to the Final Four 27 times, but right now they are the caboose of the ACC this year and last year, and those two guys are trying to change that.
And it can happen quickly in lacrosse, right? They've got a ton of talent. Yes, it's young. But a couple things go your way. Confidence, momentum go a long way.
The #1 freshman class playing right now. They've got another loaded class coming in next year, including a couple more Spallinas, twin brothers of Joey. And Joey's been sensational as a freshman. As that pass makes it all the way to Mark, he takes care of it with under 5 to play in this first half.
I mean, look at what Virginia did, right? A number of years ago, they hadn't won a game in the ACC in, I think it was like 5 years. And then change of the program, new coach comes in, they've won 2 national championships since. And that is what Coach Gate is trying to do, and has all of the ability as a coach, but also a recruiter, to turn this program around quickly.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of a nap than hibernation. Kirst with a step. Kirst on the crease. Kirst buries it. Cole Kirst on the board on senior day. That will bring some juice to the Orange.
Cole Kirst, I think Syracuse has found something. He is getting his hands free and matched up against a short stick. He's too big and strong. Had a couple nice opportunities and looks earlier, and this one is able to beat Entenmann 5-hole. I'd keep going back to number 40, Kirst. If I'm Syracuse, to start almost every offensive possession, I think he's the matchup that they can identify as being able to get his hands and his feet free for the Syracuse offense.
We've talked a lot about the Kavanagh brothers. Don't sleep on the Kirst brothers. Violation on the faceoff against Syracuse gives you 2 Notre Dame. The Kirst brothers, if you've been following college lacrosse for a few years, you know about Colin, Connor, those guys both playing in the PLL. Little brother CJ at Cornell leading the country in points and goals per game. And Cole Kirst, the grad student at Syracuse, just scored his first of the day.
It's amazing in lacrosse how the family tree. You look at the Powells, the Gates, the Thompsons, the Kirsts, the Kavanaghs. It is a family game. And Notre Dame has answered every Syracuse goal quickly and emphatically. Just a nice job by Bryce Walker, dodging up the wing with his eyes open, and finds Jack Simmons, the transfer graduate senior, who has his eighth of the season.
Speaking of lacrosse families, the Simmons last name for Syracuse fans sounds familiar. Jack Simmons, no relation to Roy Simmons, senior and junior. Again, a scrum for it, and it's Jose Boyer who comes out with it for Notre Dame, and they will try to clear. And while we're speaking of lacrosse families and lacrosse brothers, want to send our best to Paul Gate, recovering from an injury a couple months ago. Got a chance to talk with Gary Gate about him. Sounds like Paul's doing pretty well. Still full speed ahead is how Gary described it. Still business as usual for Paul. We're all thinking of you, Paul, and the entire Gate family. Quick stick for Syracuse and another takeaway. That was Caden Cole who got hounded by Pat Kavanagh on the ride. Ball is still loose with no whistle, and finally we get one as Chris Kavanagh was sitting on top of Saam Olexo, and a late flag comes in.
And you're going to see Kavanagh here. It looks like he almost drops an elbow on Saam Olexo. The call on Pat Kavanagh, I don't know, that's pretty good riding to me. Got him in the back, drove him out of bounds, so I think that's why the official threw it. But you're going to see Chris Kavanagh coming off the top ropes. And then I think he couldn't get himself off Olexo. And then I think the elbow is what's going to get the attention of the official here.
It's a bad call. This is a bad call, too.
2 fouls on the play. Both on Notre Dame. 51. Hold 30 seconds. Second foul is on blue 50. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 1 minute full time.
All right, 2 fouls, both on Notre Dame, both on Kavanagh. So Pat will sit for 30 seconds because of this.
That was in the back. I don't know if I see a hold. And then look here. As he gets up, as the brothers enjoy a friendly stroll to the penalty box. For some reason, I feel like the Kavanagh household, they probably spent a lot of time in the penalty box.
Kevin and Mary Kavanagh watching at home, they're probably used to seeing that. 6 siblings, 5 boys and 1 sister, Colleen. We'll learn more about that at halftime in Relaxing with Peacock with both Chris and Pat Kavanagh joining Paul Carcaterra. Syracuse 2 men up. Birtwistle goes behind the back and bounces it home.
Right here, Hiltz just with a nice look away with his eyes and finds Birtwistle just sneaking open in the middle. Second behind the back effort of the day. First one to find the back of the net. Plants his feet, increases his angle, changes planes. Jackson Birtwistle gets his 20th. Now keep in mind that penalty on Chris Kavanagh, unsportsmanlike, full time. So Pat Kavanagh out of the box, back on the field. Syracuse still facing off, man up.
It's a huge face-off. Jack Fine against Will Lynch. Looks like Lynch went early, so it's Syracuse ball with 40 ticks left on the extra man. Syracuse, these guys have been the Mozarts of the man up this year. That was their 27th extra man goal of the season. No one else in the country has more than 20. Thomson swings it around Hiltz. Now back to Thompson, the freshman from Toronto. Behind goal line extended, Spallina. Some space for Simmons. Started to wind it up with under 2:30 to play in the second. Now Hiltz, watched by Conlon. Plays the 2-man. And Spallina doesn't take the shot. Simmons does. Rips it just wide. Backed up by Leo with 10 seconds left on the man up. Leo the trigger man. Now Hiltz. Spallina. Again. This one's good. Alex Simmons, top cheddar. It's a 3-goal game at the Dome.
I always love seeing which man-up units have situational awareness and plays designed for 10 seconds and under in the penalty. And right here off. Right here, it's just simple awareness from Syracuse. Hiltz drives up, throws it, and changes sides of the field to Spallina, who then throws it up to Simmons. And he goes low to high. Not sure what the penalty was for, but it is wiped out. We are going to be facing off.
Lynch wins the faceoff cleanly for Notre Dame. By the way, for Birtwistle, it was his 7th man-up goal of the season. That is second most in the country behind only his teammate Joey Spallina, who's got 9. For Simmons, it's his 4th man-up goal of the year. 2 goals in 41 seconds for Syracuse. A 4-1 run. Chris Kavanagh out of the box. Centers it. Nice save. Will Mark just snatched it out of the air.
And Will Mark and Entenmann, right? They're interesting goalkeepers where they go down to their knees a fair amount, but they're actually stay up high. You don't see that. Usually when you go down, you bring your stick down. And credit them, it makes it tough on a shooter. You see a goalie's body positioning start to drop. You think, all right, the top part of the cage is going to open up. And they bait you into shooting it to the top portion.
Under a minute to play. Kirst puts the shoulder down. Looks like he could play running back for Dino Babers. Again, the open look, and again, the Cuse cashes in. Alex Simmons with back-to-back goals. We got ourselves a game.
And I think Syracuse figured out that Kirst is their matchup. What they're doing, he's being guarded by a long stick. They're bringing a pick. Notre Dame is switching off the pick, and then Kirst is just going to work. Getting to the middle of the field, Notre Dame has to collapse, which opens up the passing lanes. And the great vision. And the left-handed pass to Alex Simmons, who gets back-to-back goals for Syracuse to bring them within 2.
Whistle fine for the face-off violation, and Notre Dame can hold for the last shot of the first half.
And Notre Dame today has done a nice job outside the 5-1 run. Like prior to that, Notre Dame was answering every Syracuse run or momentum type play. And they have an opportunity here to get the last offensive opportunity and to increase their lead up to 3. They're able to beat Will Mark in the cage, who has gotten hot here for the Syracuse defense.
Will Mark has been liable to heat up. When he was at LIU, he made 30 saves in a game. He made 22 saves in this building against Duke earlier this year. An overtime win for the Blue Devils. Mark's starting to find his footing with 5 saves. Entenmann with 6 on the other side. And Matt, as these teams huddle up with, you'd imagine, one final possession left in this first half, how important is it, A, for Notre Dame to score, or B, for Syracuse to maintain this momentum?
Look, I think Notre Dame knows how big this possession is, right? Look, this is a team that's got a lot of experience. They're not going to start to lose their composure because Syracuse is doing a nice job on the offensive end. You know, to me, 3 goals at half against a young team, they'd walk away with that pretty happy, right? This is a game where Notre Dame dominated for a lot of it. Now the last 5 minutes or so, they haven't had a ton of possession. Syracuse's young players are stepping up. Goals in the last minute of quarters typically are worth 2 when you think about it, right? It's that 1 on the scoreboard and the 1 in the belief jar.
I like that. Everyone should have a belief jar. So Kevin Corrigan at the heart of that Notre Dame huddle. 35th year at Notre Dame. In case you're wondering, Roy Simmons Sr., who used to pace the Syracuse sideline, is the longest tenured coach in Division I history. Spent 40 years at Syracuse. Corrigan just 5 years behind that, and no signs of slowing down for Kevin Corrigan, who's part of one of the royal families of college athletics. His dad, the late great Gene Corrigan, the ACC commissioner, NCAA president. Brothers, also extremely successful in the world of sports. Gene, or Boo, as he's better known, is the AD at NC State, committee chair of the College Football Playoff Committee, and then Tim Corrigan has a closet full of Emmys as ESPN's lead NBA producer. Kevin Corrigan and his Notre Dame Fighting Irish up by 2 with 30 seconds to play in this second quarter. Eric Dobson, another successful first half. 2 goals and an assist for the 6'5" midfielder. With 15 seconds to play, ball back to Reilly Gray. Gray rolls around a screen, takes the low to high shot, just missed it upstairs. 9 seconds in the second quarter as Pat Kavanagh retrieves it. Kavanagh yet to score a point in the second quarter. With speed, Kavanagh on the setup. Dobson corrals, had it poked free. And that's how the first half will end. A 5-1 run for Syracuse to end the second quarter. And Gary Gates' team is right in this thing at halftime, Matt.
Syracuse defense coming up big with the stop there. 9-7, the late 5-1 run for Cuse has them back in this contest. ACC Lacrosse at its best.
National champ at UVA, Matt Ward, and the Orange and the Irish head back to the face-off X in what has become a thrilling game. A face-off violation against Jack Fine for Syracuse. It's been mostly fine for the Orange today at the X, which is a bit of a surprise. Johnny Rachusa had taken over 200 face-offs this year for Syracuse. Fine just 62, but Fine's been carrying the mail there for the Orange today. Here's Pat Kavanagh. 3 points in the first half, which sounds really good, but actually below his pace for his career against Syracuse. And Reilly Gray scores. The goal will count, and there's a flag on the field.
It'll be interesting to see what this penalty is, because if it's after it's a dead ball foul, no face-off, Notre Dame gets possession.
Fighting Irish goal is his second of the afternoon and 10th of the season to number 17, Reilly.
And right here, let's take a look at this goal. The first of the second half by Gray.
31.
Down the alley, left hand. He's a right-handed player. Nice, compact, elbows in, release. Not the most powerful shot, but you change direction and deception. Far more effective than power.
Gray's second of the afternoon. It is a face-off as the flag wiped out by the goal. Notre Dame controls with Chris Fake. Only momentarily, though. Kirst scoops it up. Oh, he's like a running back. He shoots. Saved by Entenmann. A kick save and a beauty.
What a save. And again, like we talked, Entenmann goes to his knees. That time he read it correctly and had his stick down low. A nice ground ball from Cole Kirst to get the opportunity, but Entenmann steals it.
Jose Boyer, a deft job of keeping it inbounds. This guy's a threat with the pull. He scored coast to coast against Virginia Saturday. Notre Dame's first loss of the season, 15-10. The Irish had won 12 in a row. Last 6 last year, first 6 this year. And then the Hoos knocked them off by 5. Virginia was #1 in the country. They are, but they lost to Duke yesterday at Klockner. Syracuse lost a stick. Basically a man up here for Notre Dame for a moment. Kavanagh turns and scores. Chris Kavanagh upstairs. 2 goals to start for Notre Dame in the second half.
Chris Kavanagh, his marquee move is this. It was never a move when I was playing. It's called the exclamation point. Usually he jumps. You see that little step? He's going vertically up the field, and it's this plant right there where he gets space to get his hands free. Most people are familiar with the question mark, where you plant, you change direction, get your momentum going back towards the cage. Chris Kavanagh has perfected this move where he's running up the field and he jump steps in the same direction to increase his angle. Amazing footwork for Chris Kavanagh, the sophomore from Long Island.
I love that, the exclamation mark. I'm going to try to use that at some point today. 5 straight face-off wins for Notre Dame. 2 straight goals to start the second half, and Mark denies him the 3rd straight. Nice outlet pass all the way near midfield. Here comes Carter Rice for Syracuse. They'll slow it down with Cole Kirst, who had a goal and an assist in the first half. Big possession here for the Orange. as they again try to stay in touch. Notre Dame scored the first 5 today, and they've won the last 5 in this matchup. Michael Leo, freshman from Long Island who scored in the first half. Now Kirst matched up with Chris Conley. Kirst again, physical, draws a flag. Nice feed. Finn Thomson had it poked free. But as Notre Dame possesses, Syracuse will go to the man up.
Blue, 2-4, hold, 30 seconds. 2-4, hold, 30 seconds.
Cole Kirst.
Ben Ramsey, short stick defensive midfielder.
But it's number 40, Cole Kirst, who off these picks is giving Notre Dame fits defensively. And right there, a clear hold. And then the nice pass here. Simmons almost with the one-handed wraparound. Credit Chris Conlon for staying engaged. But Notre Dame's gonna have to figure out an answer.
Whoa, Owen Hiltz. Oh, Canada wasting no time. 77 with the man-up goal. It's back to a 3-goal game.
Hiltz with his second goal at the low angle today. Right here, look, man-up's easy if you don't even have to do anything. He literally just walks up the field. Notre Dame's like, you know, he's got a low angle. We're not going to engage. And Hiltz says, hey, I'm going to change that narrative. And beats Entenmann low to high near side. That was nasty.
Fine and Lynch again battling. Notre Dame has the edge 12-9 today. That was an old school face-off war. Hiltz comes away with it as it crept over that yellow line.
Notre Dame lucky was a flag wasn't thrown there as well.
Just over 3 minutes in, Syracuse staying in striking distance, only down by 3. Kirst again on the bull dodge, takes the shot. Might have caught some of the pipe as Entenmann makes the save.
And that's it. I mean, Syracuse has identified it. It's Kirst every possession, initiate your offense. I wouldn't go away from it. He has been, since he became the focal point as an initiator, Syracuse's offense at a different level than the start of this game.
First shot was wide, that's why there's no shot clock reset, so 30 to shoot for Syracuse as Leo carries. 7-77, Leo and Hiltz play the 2-man. Now Leo with the short stick, nice feed, and the finish! Finn Thomson, back-to-back goals for Syracuse.
Freshman to freshman. Leo right here, the nice job. Vision up, and then Finn Thomson inside with a perfectly timed cut. Notre Dame struggled last weekend on its interior defense. Syracuse scouted it. And well-timed cuts against this Fighting Irish defense tend to be rewarded as Finn Thomson gets his 14th goal of the season.
With his Canadian background, you knew he was not going to miss on a chance like that from the doorstep. Shades of Brendan Bomberry back in his Syracuse days. Finn Thomson's got a couple of older brothers who play in the NLL. You saw the finishing chops there as Lynch wins the faceoff for Notre Dame and outlets it back to the goalie Entenmann. Entenmann with a sweet feed near midfield. And the Irish successfully clear. Here's Reilly Gray again, sprinting down the alley. Gray from a sharp angle, turned aside by Marth. On the ricochet, Saam Olexo's got it for the Cuse. Their team leader among non-faceoff guys in ground balls and also caused turnovers.
And the difference there from Gray, versus the goal just earlier in this half, took a couple extra steps, lost his angle. And quite frankly, if you get that deep, you're better off throwing the ball through X and attacking the backside, because Will Mark's too good in the cage, both from a stopping but also positioning perspective, where you're going to beat him consistently on low angle shots.
Hiltz around the screen. What a move. Hiltz rings it off the crossbar. And Spallina watches it bounce out of bounds for the backup. Now Spallina gets involved with a little space. Hands were free, opted not to shoot. Straight away, here's Kirst. He's been a bully on the dodge today. No look feed. Simmons really struggling. It's good defense from Nick Harris there, the shorty for Notre Dame. Spallina. The shot is good. Oh, Jackson Birtwistle. That was saucy. Oh, it's Alex Simmons. My mistake. That's a hat trick for him. And a one-goal game at the Dome.
I mean, this Syracuse offense from the start of this game to where they are now, like, they've aged a season in this game. The confidence they're playing with. Right here, Simmons ducks underneath, doesn't get the advantage, spins up to his strong hand. Just a nice, patient dodge. And the low to high. Change of plane, the deception of that shot from Simmons. On another level. Syracuse starting to believe. You can feel it with his offense.
It's Lynch, and it's fine. Lynch has the upper hand here, and Tevlin sprints away with it. 14-10, the edge for the Irish at the faceoff X. Both teams struggle to win faceoffs this year, 44% or below. Here comes Jackson. Alex Simmons has been dominating for Syracuse in this third quarter. And another turnover for the Irish. Here comes Olexo. Head of steam. Look out for Olexo. Good recovery from Notre Dame. Olexo gets rid of it. Bouncing pass is errant. Will Donovan, the freshman, was on it for a second for Notre Dame. A loose ball and a whistle. And what do we have here? Syracuse ball.
Yeah, number 24, Ben Ramsey for Notre Dame is going to get called for playing without his stick. You're in a tough position emotionally as an offensive player when you get de-twigged and the ball stays in your stick, and there is nothing you can do because you pick it up. That is procedure, and you're going to lose possession. So you kind of just have to run with it.
After the yard sale, you must go home. Hiltz, one-on-one. Syracuse within one. Hiltz tried to get the hands free. What a play by Ramsey. How's that for a response?
It's called answering the bell right there.
Notre Dame hasn't scored in over 6 minutes. Matt, offensively, what do you expect to see from them here?
I think you go to Pat Kavanagh. I don't think he's had the ball nearly enough here since the opening moments, right? He scored 2 goals dodging early on. He's your best offensive player.
The takeaway for Olexo. Mid-season All-American, and you have seen why. He's everywhere, including here's. Olexo clears it for the Cuse. Nice feed from Carter Rice. Olexo, one more. Olexo shoots and scores! A pole goal has tied it at 11. Let's check the penalty flag. Right now, that's the definition of a juice goal for the Orange.
Blue, 13, personal foul, slash, 1 minute. 13 blue, slash, 1 minute. Immediate timeout.
Syracuse knotting it at 11, going on the man up, but Saam Olexo, the ding-dong check over the head, picks it up off the turf and pushes in transition, and guess what? Rewarded for the efforts on the defensive end. Olexo knots it at 11. Syracuse on a 4-0 run, and thanks to Alex Simmons, he has been electric with his shooting. Right here, I think my favorite of the day, the nice stop and a dime, turn to his strong hand, low to high. We talk about Syracuse youth, but when you get some senior leadership and some senior play, making the big adjustments and putting goals on the board, that's a dangerous combination.
Now Simmons, a grad student, the transfer from Denver. Really, the kids have been all right for Syracuse this year. They've been handling most of the scoring. Spallina, Hiltz, Thomson, Leo, and others. But with Simmons and Kirst, grad students making their presence felt today. It'll be Syracuse ball after the whistle on the faceoff. We are tied for the first time since it was 0-0. Notre Dame scored the first 5 goals of this game. And again, they have won the last 5 meetings. The Orange are a player up for 50 more seconds after Jake Taylor called for the penalty before the last goal. A 4-0 run for the Orange. They can add another here. Hiltz has one on the man up.
Joey Spallina on the low corner.
Entenmann wins the backup.
Not a smart shot from Hiltz. We talked about, I mentioned Spallina on that back corner. Well, he started creeping up, and because of that, they had no one at X to back up that shot. Bad awareness from Owen Hiltz.
They're playing 6-on-5 and no backup, so Notre Dame back with the ball, and they'll have 40 seconds on offense to work with after killing this penalty, assuming they clear, which has been a struggle all day. And it's Syracuse ball.
Was that offsides?
Must have been, because they blew it dead before 60 was on the shot clock. You've got 20 seconds to get it across midfield. So either way, it's a turnover against Notre Dame. And Syracuse back on offense. Back to 6-on-6 as the penalty expires. Spallina from a sharp angle. Entenmann gobbles it up. Under 5 to play in this third quarter. What a response from Syracuse to tie this game with a 4-0 run. The stakes are really high for the Cuse in this game. They win it, Matt. They might not be sitting at the table of the NCAA tournament discussion yet, but they're starting to pull up a chair.
And the ACC starts to look a lot like the Ivy League last year, right? A lot of teams beating each other up in the regular season.
Dobson from a low angle. Back up for Notre Dame.
And take it even a step further, though, right? Like Syracuse played Duke really close and lost by 1. right? That does nothing for them. Like, margin of loss does not help your NCAA resume, right? It just doesn't. And so, like, they need this win because, right, 2 one-goal losses to Notre Dame, Duke. Well, yeah, man, you're a top 16 team, but it doesn't help your resume. They need a W.
4 minutes to play. Dobson with the lefty shot. Again, Mark goes low and saves high. Will Mark has kept Notre Dame off the board for nearly this entire third quarter since back-to-back goals for the Irish to start things off. Folks, Clemson and Florida State highlight the Thursday night softball-baseball doubleheader on ACC Network. Both the first games of important 3-game series. Watch them on the ESPN app anywhere. Here's Kirst. Again, the physicality. Now at goal line extended. Luke Rowe dives, can't score. And a crease violation against the freshman from Maryland.
I think that was Birtwistle, was it not? Yeah, that was Jackson Birtwistle. The individual dodge landed in the goal mouth. So even if he had scored, wasn't going to count. He put himself in a tough position, kind of like a all or nothing type dodge there from Birtwistle. And he was unable to give Syracuse its first lead of this game.
Good call, partner. Birtwistle with 1 goal today is up to 20 goals on the season. A pure goal scorer. That time, though, stepped in the crease without scoring. So Notre Dame ball, 2:30 to play, third quarter. The Irish trying to bounce back from their first loss of the year last Saturday against Virginia. A shot on the run. Again, Mark with a save. The rebound is stuffed, but no goal. Jack Simmons stepped in the crease.
Will Mark was off to a slow start in this contest. To say that he's changed the script would be an understatement. He has been absolutely spectacular.
He's kept Notre Dame off the board for over 11 minutes. Kirst around the Leo screen. Kirst with a step. Good recovery from Chris Conlon, the Holy Cross transfer. Now it's Spallina on the feed toward the crease. Loose ball picked up by Finn Thomson with under 30 to shoot, under 90 seconds in the third quarter. Now Hiltz, 2 goals today. Hiltz, the sidewinder. Missed it wide, back up for Kirst. Now Leo. A goal and an assist for the freshman today. Matched up with the shorty Ramsey. 10 seconds to shoot. They got to go. 5 on the timer. Simmons takes the shot. Antomin with the easy save as the shot clock was about to expire. Ramsey clears it for the Irishman. He's been active today. Both goalies with 9 saves. Shot clock essentially off. Irish can hold for 1 if they want it. Instead, Taylor could not control the pass. It skips back to Pat Kavanagh.
Again, if I'm Notre Dame, Pat Kavanagh, too much of a bystander here since the first quarter. I get you want to be conscious and cognizant of the matchups and where you attack. Kavanagh's your guy. Get him involved a little bit more.
Under 10 seconds. Here is Pat Kavanagh. Spins it around for Chris. Kavanagh takes the shot. It's backed up with 3 seconds to play. And we have a tie game heading to the fourth quarter. Matt Ward, buckle your seatbelt, my friend. This is going to be a fun last 15.
Notre Dame, Syracuse all square going to the fourth quarter. All the momentum with the orange. Can Notre Dame regain it?
Syracuse, where we are all square, 11 apiece. Notre Dame and Syracuse, two ACC teams in a resurgent Atlantic Coast Conference. You could argue the three best teams in the country reside in this league. Duke will be #1 in all likelihood after their win over #1 Virginia in Charlottesville yesterday. North Carolina looks like a tournament team as well. And then there's Syracuse, who with a win like this over the #3 team in America could get themselves right back in the conversation.
Yeah, and credit Syracuse. They could have gone away. Notre Dame came out clicking on all cylinders, and they bounced right back in a great kind of combination of youth and experience, making an impact. But take it a step further. I mean, you look at what this game means, right? Syracuse wins this game. Now a win against Syracuse means a lot more in the grand scheme of things, right? Like, right now it's like, hey, 3 teams are in, 2 maybe. But this could blow the whole thing open where you could find all 5 teams winning against one another. And those quality wins are only accelerated.
Notre Dame ball after the whistle on the faceoff. And what did Gary Gate tell us this week? Hey, you put 6 Ivy Leagues in last year. Why can't you take 5 ACC this year?
And again, doesn't happen if Duke, UVA, and Notre Dame win their games and kind of beat each other up, but UNC and Syracuse kind of lose to them. This changes everything, right? Like, it gets to that point where now every ACC game matters and it's going to be considered a high-quality win. And that's what the selection committee last year made their decisions on, and I don't see it changing this year.
Here's Chris Kavanagh. Tiptoeing around that crease. Look at Mark out of his crease to lay the wood. Kavanagh takes the shot. It was that exclamation mark, and Will Mark had the answer. 10 more saves for Will Mark. What a revelation he's been. The LIU transfer who led the country in saves in 2020 and 2021, doing the same thing for the Orange.
I think you're going to see a lot of action in the transfer portal for goalies. And if I'm a team, right, I'm looking there because I think you can tell a lot more on a season, maybe on a team that no one's really familiar with, of facing D1 shooters versus trying to scout high school players.
What a save from Hiltz to rake it back for Spallina. More than 15 minutes of game time without a goal for Notre Dame. Will Mark is smoldering. Now Kirst gets the step. Cole Kirst puts it home, and Syracuse leads for the first time today.
Cole Kirst, since he's become the initiator in this game, Syracuse is at an entirely different level on the offensive end.
Let's check out today's player spotlight, brought to you by New York Life.
And Cole Kirst in the spotlight for a reason. He has been tough to stop. His massive frame and downhill style proving to be too much for this Notre Dame defense. 2 goals and 2 assists, but what's been most important is the pressure he's applied to Notre Dame's defense, forcing slides and then opening up everything else for this Syracuse offense.
Will Lynch wins the faceoff to himself. Lynch with space on the setup, and Pat Kavanagh's shot missed. Backed up by Syracuse. Saam Olexo won the race. Nick Kakemo instead, 28. Both guys have been active, especially in the second half.
And Will Mark making Notre Dame think.
Here's Finn Thomson to settle things down.
A mentor of mine always talks, think therefore you miss is the key to not only shoot and skeet, but to life. And right now, I think Notre Dame's thinking a little too much. Every time they pull it back to take a shot, Will Mark is in their head.
Spallina on the setup. Thomson on the finish.
And that was saved.
Goal.
That was saved
goal,
by Entenmann.
Entenmann.
It was in his stick. I think Thomson thinks that he caught it over the line and it should have been a goal. But Entenmann.
Notre Dame comes back and that counts. It's
We got to take a look at that
Harris.
save. We've got to take a look at that save first. Entenmann. Everyone was confused and Entenmann's like, aha, I have it in my stick. And then they pushed in transition. And what do you know? One great play leads to another. It's Nick Harris knocks this game at 12. Right here, let's take a look at Harris in transition. Down the wing.
For Nick Harris, his first goal of the season, 6th of his career. And that ends a drought of more than 16 minutes for Notre Dame. Fine and Lynch, mano a mano. It's Lynch with another face-off win. Notre Dame's advantage at the X is 17-11 today. Jack Simmons galloping back to X and Pat Kavanagh, matched up with Olexo. Kavanagh without a point since the first quarter. Simmons back to X and Pat. 35 to shoot. Kavanagh rips it. UVA transfer Jack Simmons hits the gas, turns. Marked by Brandon Aviles, celebrating senior day today. Now Pat Kavanagh after the stutter step. 15 seconds to shoot. Here's Bryce Walker. Again, tight defense from the Orange. Bryce all over him. Kirst Kavanagh with space after the screen. Low shot turned aside. Will Mark with another stop, but a fresh 60 for the Irish as Brian Tevlin had the rebound. Kirst Kavanagh in a jog. Billy Dwan III, the freshman defenseman, has that assignment. Kirst Kavanagh, underhand feed for Tevlin, the Yale transfer. Now Simmons. Walker. Kavanagh gets the hands free and buries it. Kirst Kavanagh lost the twig. It doesn't matter. Irish back in front.
And Kirst Kavanagh, a nice subtle adjustment here on this shot. It was his second shot of the possession. Will Mark stopped him on a low-to-low shot here. Now he gets to the middle of the field, and he's going to shoot this one with a little higher release point, changes planes as you get to the middle of the field. Look at that traffic. Screens Will Mark. Doesn't go low to low. He goes 3/4 low. Had Will Mark guessing in the cage.
Another whistle after the faceoff. Another violation against Syracuse. And the gap at the X is starting to balloon for Notre Dame. Now 18-11. Inside 10 minutes in the fourth quarter. Reilly Gray with a head of steam. Pat Kavanagh. Again, Olexo has done an amazing job on him. Kavanagh scored at least 9 points in each of his first 4 games against Syracuse. All wins for the Irish. Lost it for a moment. Olexo still matched up with him. Kavanagh trying to shake free and does. Lefty shot stopped by Mark. Now Chris Kavanagh tries his luck from X. Kavanagh on the inside roll got blown up. A massive hit thrown by Syracuse. Kavanagh took the brunt of it.
And right here, you're going to see a push. The reason it wasn't a loose or push with possession is Kavanagh actually lost control of the ball. I think that's the right call, though.
It was Jake Murphy who laid the lumber, and Taylor goes upstairs. Jake Taylor's 4th of the day, and the Irish have a little breathing room.
Right here, Jake Taylor gets the feed from Dobson. In lacrosse, that play is called a mumbo, where Taylor starts in the inside. Kavanagh came in and set a screen, and Taylor popped outside, and Syracuse, with bad communication, allows Jake Taylor to get his hands free and bury his 4th of the contest. Nice set offense from Notre Dame. Syracuse needs to make sure they talk through that and play sides of that pick.
Irish have dominated at the faceoff X lately, and that continues. Lynch scoops up another. By the way, Jake Taylor, 4 goals on 5 shots. He was 2 for 9 in his first game back against Virginia last Saturday. And his coach, Kevin Corrigan, told us 2 for 9 is not what Jake is used to. But like you said earlier, partner, the ball just finds him. And it's found him today, and he is capitalized. Here's Jack Simmons with a short stick of Hiltz. Simmons, the lefty shot. Mark with the save as that one rolls all the way toward the Notre Dame bench. And they reset the timer at 60. And Chris Kavanagh with under 8 to play in the fourth quarter starts his run. Kavanagh with space off the pipe.
And just like Cole Kirst for Syracuse was the key to their offensive prowess here in this game, I think Chris Kavanagh has found the matchup against the freshman Billy Dwan, who's a big-time recruit, right? We talk about Syracuse, the recruits they have on the offense end. Billy Dwan, one of the top defensive recruits in the country. But Chris Kavanagh giving him all kinds of problems.
Now Pat. Again, Olexo's on him. On the setup, Westlin scores. Griffin Westlin's on the board. It's a 4-0 run for Notre Dame after they trailed for the first time today.
Westlin, who you find on Notre Dame's man up. A great lefty shooter. Kavanagh finds him open, and a nice patient dodge from Kavanagh to Westlin. Steps outside and ricochets it off. Will Mark in the cage to give Notre Dame some breathing room. 15-12 Irish. The play of the game right here is Syracuse trying to get A two-goal lead, and Thomson beats Entenmann in the cage, but Entenmann possessed the ball, and the officials miss it. And this has led to 4 straight goals for Notre Dame to give them now a 3-goal cushion. Fake it till you make it if you're Liam Entenmann. In the cage, catches the ball over the goal line, but sells it as a spectacular save. Had us all confused. And Notre Dame has taken advantage, right? That would have been a 2-goal lead for the Orange since that time now. We find Notre Dame up 3. Tough break for the Orange, but credit Liam Entenmann. Remember, Jerry, it's not a lie if you believe it. Liam Entenmann with the save.
Notre Dame has won all 6 faceoffs in this 4th quarter. Folks, your eyes did not deceive you. Liam Entenmann, yes, he had the ball in his cross, but his stick hit the inside of the net. So that should have been a goal for Finn Thomson. It should have been a 2-goal lead for Syracuse. Instead, Notre Dame has ripped off 4 in a row, and they lead by 3. Here's Kirst Kavanagh. He's been a catalyst of the run. 2 goals today on 7 shots. Now it's Reilly Gray. He's got 2 goals today as well. Jake Taylor leads the way with 4. Now Pat Kavanagh again. Saam Olexo is dialed in on that matchup. McCahon. Orange defense scrambling a bit now, and Reilly Gray takes advantage. A hat trick for the senior from Long Island, and the Irish are building the lead now.
And this is a nice, patient offensive set for the Fighting Irish. Really made the ball work around the perimeter 3 times. And so what that leads to is a lot of expansion for Syracuse's defense. Makes it harder to have your slide packages where you want them. And Reilly Gray takes advantage of the one-on-one dodging and no support from the interior from Syracuse to continue this Notre Dame run.
Another face-off win for Notre Dame. Lynch has started to establish his dominance at the face-off X. 8 in a row for Notre Dame. Syracuse has not won one in the 4th quarter. Now, Matt, when you were a player, you were in these back-and-forth games, right? I mean, momentum, I know, is kind of a debatable topic among the analytics community. Do you think if that Syracuse goal counted, do you think Notre Dame goes on this 5-0 run?
No, I don't. And look, credit Notre Dame for making it count, right? Like they made that save, they get the break for the goal not being called, and then they scored instantly, right? And then they scored again. And so now they're humming, right? Like the Notre Dame take advantage of the breaks you get, and Syracuse, again, young team, right? Like, how do you handle adversity? But I don't think so, right? I think if Syracuse gets that goal, they're up 2. I'm not saying they're winning right now, but I don't think Notre Dame's gone on this run, right? Because think about it. Syracuse went from being up 2 to tied within 5 seconds, right? And they haven't seen the ball since then.
Yeah.
And so, again, a lot of times, right, you look at golf, right? Like, some of the rounds where you play your best, you don't score the best. It's a lot of times about the breaks and how you recover. Notre Dame taking advantage of the tee shot off the tree into the middle of the fairway.
That was Pat to Kirst Kavanagh, a 6-0 run for Notre Dame. And finally, the Orange win a faceoff, their first of the 4th quarter. It was Max Rosa, the junior from West Genesee High School in Syracuse, who came away with it. And it's taken away immediately by the Irish. Carter Parlette. now with under 5 minutes to play and a 5-goal lead, Notre Dame will slow things down.
Okay, if you're Notre Dame here, I spin the ball easily and casually around the perimeter to start to every possession. I look for Kavanagh to initiate the offense.
Here's Pat Kavanagh. Just set up his brother Chris for the hat trick. Pat the senior, Chris the sophomore, who's got it now. Jack Simmons on the setup. Good ball movement and another for the Irish. It's Brian Tevlin with his first of the day. And Notre Dame's running away now.
Some pretty great offensive sets here for Notre Dame. Dodge, pass, pass. Right here, nice job off the dodge. Kavanagh finds a cutting number 12, Brian Tevlin, the transfer from Yale. What could have been for Syracuse? It's turned into a nightmare here in the last 5 minutes as Notre Dame is winning every aspect of the game since that controversial non-goal.
4 goals in 3.5 minutes for Notre Dame, and they can salt this away. And you said it, partner, what could have been for Syracuse? I think a lot of the folks wearing orange here at the Dome today, when they're having their post-game debrief at Fagan's, will be discussing that non-goal for Finn Thomson, which would have made it a 2-goal lead for Syracuse ever since a 7-0 run for Notre Dame. Here's Eric Dobson. Dobson head of steam, rings it off the pipe, and this is getting ugly. 8 straight for the Irish. It's a hat trick for Dobson.
I think this would prove the analytical folk wrong, that momentum does matter in this game. I mean, Notre Dame was asleep at the wheel. And then when that play happens, they have awoken on the offensive end. No goals for Syracuse in 10 minutes. 7 straight goals for Notre Dame.
Think about, I mean, you talk about the momentum, Matt. Think about the runs in this game. Notre Dame led 5-0. Syracuse put together 2 3+ goal runs to make it a 1-goal game in their favor. They led in the 4th quarter. Ever since, Notre Dame has scored 8 in a row.
Look, the argument you can make, right, is that, hey, Notre Dame probably could have still won, would probably still win this game because they won almost every faceoff from that time on too, right? Like, that's a lot of possession. And so they've had the ball for the entire 4th quarter, and with the offensive weapons they have, they're going to score some goals. But it just seemed to be the momentum creation that they had literally lost for almost half the game.
Simmons with a nice feed. Again, Hiltz off the crossbar. And Notre Dame will clear. Tevlin, he's got wheels. One of the best two-way players in the country. Tried to set it up for Jeffrey Ricciardelli, the first number 0 in Notre Dame history. It's a turnover against the Irish. Carter Parlette on the run out. Parlette bounces it home. It's a 20-piece for the Irish. 9 goals in a row. This Notre Dame team is no joke.
And this impressive 4th quarter for Notre Dame continues as Parlette in transition. Puts the 20th goal on the board for the Fighting Irish. Look, there's plays that make seasons. And that play for Notre Dame, the save, keeping it in his cross, even though we think it and know that it crossed the line.
Save in air quotes.
What does this mean for Notre Dame moving forward? Right? This is a team that lost to UVA 15-10 a week ago. They were on the ropes. And now they're like, wait, we're really good. Who are we? We're Notre Dame. We're going to score 20 points, 9 goals in like 30 seconds. And so can they build this forward in the matchups they have in the ACC? Right? They still have to play Duke. They still play UVA.
Yeah, as you'd expect for an ACC team. We got 2 flags down, by the way. A lot of contact, big collision on the 35. Notre Dame gets Duke at home next week, which should be the #1 team in the country after the Blue Devils beat #1 UVA in Charlottesville last night. And then they get Carolina, then they're at Virginia, then they're at UNC. So no rest for the weary for the Irish.
Look, I'd expect the top 3 teams in the country next week to be Duke, Notre Dame, and UVA. Maryland lost to Michigan today. The biggest win in Wolverines program history. Congrats to them. Cornell can make an argument that maybe they can crack into the top 3. They've been playing some really good lacrosse. But I'd be surprised if it wasn't 1, 2, 3. Duke #1, Notre Dame 2. I think you can make an argument maybe Cornell over UVA, but I imagine it'll be UVA 3 and Cornell 4.
A timeout, or just a stoppage here to check on the 2 penalties. So for Notre Dame, 7-1, just laid out their schedule. Syracuse will fall to 6-5, 0-3 in the ACC, and 0-5 against ranked teams. They're at Princeton next weekend. This, again, their final home game of the year. They do have a neutral site against Carolina and Maryland in a couple weeks.
Red, 48, illegal buy check to the head, 2 minutes, full time, reset 60.
All right, so Saam Olexo will serve another 2 minutes in the box. The official just said red 48, which the Orange fans, if they weren't upset enough by the outcome of this game, that'll do it.
Well, it's got to be one. It's one syllable as an official, right? They're never going to go orange, given the 2 syllables. They're going to make it down to 1. You should know that.
That's fair. Well, we had ourselves a game for about 48 minutes, and then Notre Dame put together a clinic in the 4th quarter. They end this one on a 9-goal run, and the Irish walk out of the Dome with an 8-goal win.
9 goals for Notre Dame in the 4th quarter. This is a talented team. When they get possession, they get their momentum going. Can't contain them.
Notre Dame back in the win column, up to 7-1, their first ACC win of the season. Syracuse down to 6-5, 0-3 in conference play. For our entire crew, led by Kristen Hennessy, my partner, the birthday boy, Matt Ward. Happy birthday, brother. I'm Drew Carter, saying so long from the JMA Wireless Dome in Syracuse.